Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Fernando Herrera, and today I'm going to talk to you about my favorite LiDAR applications that I found. So stick around and learn more in just a moment. So the iPhone 12 and iPad Pro, the new iPad Pro, has LiDAR sensors. And let me tell you this, they're pretty much useless if you don't have an application for them. So today I'm going to go over some of the applications that I like the most and how they work. Now, before we begin, guys, please, I would ask you just this one favor, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have been subscribed, thank you so much for watching. Now let's begin. So number one, we're gonna go ahead and use 3D scanner. So 3D scanner seems to be the most popular choice in the App Store. So because I do see that it has more reviews than all the other apps, and it seems to work very well with larger items. So for example, a couch, a room, a sofa, a chair. All these things work really well with this application. However, if you're trying to do some sort of 3D modeling on smaller items, such as my AirPods, it's gonna be really bad because it's not gonna really detect the quality and the texture of these devices. The benefits of this app is that it's free, and it's pretty much free. I mean, you don't have to pay anything. You also do have some features where you can crop and smooth out the actual item that you've already pretty much took an image of. And then the whole point of the application is really to actually scan an actual item, and then you can actually place it with the exact same dimensions into another room. So for example, if you're thinking of changing this specific chair or this TV or this furniture into another room, then you can definitely scan it with this app, and you could pretty much go into the other room and use AR, which is augmented reality, and just paste that TV and that furniture there to see how it would look. You can actually look around, you can actually see it. It's actually very cool and very impressive. So this application does have an augmented reality integration, which allows you to pretty much put the item that you just scanned into anywhere you want, and you can see it. The next application is called Polycam. I personally like this application. It's just a slightly tiny bit more, simply because it's faster. So when you actually render and copy and record the rooms or the object, it's actually better than 3D scanner. But it does come at a cost, since Polycam does not have the augmented reality feature, or at least I couldn't find it. And that's very important because, again, you could scan some items, but then again, you cannot just pretty much paste them somewhere else. Now, this is really good and convenient if you're going to be, let's say, selling a house or selling something that you want people to see an image of in a more 3D way. This application is absolutely the one to go because it's easy, it's fast, and it renders everything in a very smooth and professional way. But it has the same problem as the previous app mentioned, which means if you're doing it on smaller items, it's actually really bad. For example, I did a scan on my Xbox controller, and it just looks like a bump, like a black bump. There's no detail at all. Also, for some reason, even though there are some bigger things that should be detected, it does not detect like thinner items. So for example, my tripod for my camera, it did not detect that. So the legs they weren't able to detect the legs. And I don't know if this is more of the LiDAR sensor issue, or if it's something that is the software itself. The next application is going to be Scandy Pro. Scandy Pro honestly was one of the apps that I least like based on all the application I tested. And the reason is because it was slower and it wasn't that good of a quality or the detail. So apparently the application itself does not process the LiDAR as efficient as the other applications would. And so that's why I would probably not recommend this one. The reason, though, it did make it on my list is because it actually seems that it records in a much better quality. So, if you do have the time and the patience, then probably this application might be good if you want a room that's going to be in a better quality way or a lot more detail. Also, it does not have the augmented reality integration, which means you also cannot just scan a couch and put it on another room to see how it would look like. It's more of a map design kind of drawing kind of format. The last application I do want to talk about is Clone. And this application is actually one of my favorite ones because this one is intended for smaller items. And it's very interesting because not only do they let you use your LiDAR scanner on your iPhone or iPad, but they actually give you some sort of tools that you have to work with in order to achieve a better and greater quality result and scanning mechanism. So in other words, they'll actually give you this right here, and you will place your item right here pretty much on top of this thing, right? Which is just seems to look like a QR code. And so what it will do, it will actually measure the item based on the QR code, and the application itself will tell you where you still need to record and scan. And I mean, the level of detail that this application can record smaller items is amazing. It looks like professional, it looks legit, and this application does have the augmented reality feature, which is actually very nice. They have a little demo about an elephant, which I'm gonna put right here for you guys so you can see I have an elephant around my house. And so you can actually record these things on your iPhone and then just simply, again, paste them in a website, perhaps put them in another room where you could see how it would look like. So it's actually a very, very efficient way of scanning items. The only disadvantage about this application is that it's extremely time consuming. Just to scan one single item, and that was my AirPods Pros, it literally took me maybe 5 to 10 minutes, kind of going around the required angles that the application asks you to do. Not to mention, you're pretty much limited to the size of this actual QR code. So I have been thinking maybe if I were to design a banner with this exact same QR code, the application would also be able to read and I would be able to put a larger item. But I have yet to test this, so don't quote me on that. With that being said, guys, pretty much this concludes my top 4 picks of the best LiDAR scanning augmented reality applications that I really liked. Really, if you were just undecisive of which application to use, I would say just download all of them and pretty much try them out for yourself, see which one works best for you. For me personally, I'm going to keep the 3D scanner one, and definitely I'm going to be keeping Clone. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe. I do reviews on multiple things, and I also, for example, list my cars on Turo, invest on stock market, and I love Tesla. So if any of these things interest you, please go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.